What is up? It is Paristtmpped, Paristtmpped, Ttmpped. And we are back with a better video. How y'all feeling about the glasses just being a part of the thing? I feel like it's just like this night. Hey, these are real. These aren't no fake. These aren't fake. These are real glasses. But how do y'all feel about it being a part of the look? I've been debating about it. I'm like, I've been putting it in some videos, taking them off, putting them on halfway. But now I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of feeling the. I mean, it's given authentic, prepared, knowing where I'm going. Anyway, so today's video is going to be about handling pushback and hate when you're LGBT plus, when you're trans, all that jazz. If you don't know, I have a book out called The Trans Survival Guide, which is honestly the LGBT plus survival guide, but more so leaning towards my trans folks, definitely trans men, that's who I am. But it's just, a little survival guide, and I do have a little chapter, a little piece on this topic. So if you want to read more deeply into it, I suggest going to my website right now and getting the book. It's a great read. Highly suggest it. Shout out to people who've been buying the book. Thank you so much for all the support. Let's get into the video. And as you know, I have this fat ass handy dandy night book. Usually I have my small one, but I had the idea while I was in this book. So I was like, fuck it, let me just, I don't feel like transferring it into my small handy dandy notebook. So I'm just going to read it from this page. You got to realize everybody has their own opinion. So you can't really control how people perceive you. You might be seeing it as hate and they just see it as them spilling truth. Now, I believe that everybody has to mind their fucking business and stop putting their business in people's fucking ass. I guess like it's fucking weird. I don't know. As I'm getting older, before I used to kind of give it a lot of the benefit of the doubt. And I used to always go, oh, let me not jump to conclusions. Let me understand that people have their own way of being. But then I kind of, I get older and I see people just be purposely stubborn. But if you were to judge them, they'll tell you that you don't have the audacity to do that. So I do believe that some people give themselves more leeway than they should, and that everybody should actually be minding their business. But because everybody does have their own opinion, you really can't control how people are perceiving you. People give me their opinion all the time, and sometimes it's so incorrect that if I were to have went home and took that with me, their opinion of me, I would have probably went down a negative fucking spiral in a different path and became a different person. You gotta not let anyone's opinion of you get to you. So when you get that hate and you get that pushback in terms of your transition or decisions or outfit choices or ways of expression, don't fucking listen to it. Y'all can all comment down below, fuck the glasses, take that shit off, you fucking fuck. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm probably going to continue to wear them because I'm just saying it so that you can almost be prepared for my future decision. You should, when you give out the possibility of options, you don't have to listen to what majority of anybody says. You can still make up your mind and just have different perspectives just in case you want to consider something else. Back in 2020, when COVID was at an all-time high, during the summertime, I'm guessing this is, because I remember I had an afro, so I guess I had locks many times, so I had just cut my locks off, and I had a little afro going, I remember. So I'm guessing it's right before the pandemic was crazy. No, I think it was right after, we were all just getting used to wearing masks. I had tried to become a Mr. Softy guy, so I was basically in the process of becoming an ice cream man. Yes. Yes, I know the entire fucking ice cream song, and if you made it to this part of the video, you're the real one, because I made you sit and reminisce on my childhood with me. We went through that experience together. But yes, I was in the process of becoming Mr. Softy. I thought, ooh, I get ice cream when I'm on break. This is about to be the vibe. I really was vibing with it. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And in that experience, I felt like because I was presenting as confusion and also black, within the first day, the amount of questions I got about Aunt Jemima and and just my black experience and outfit choices, if I grew up on what side of the fence, I just feel like presentation definitely does dictate what people say and think about you, and you may perceive that as judgment and hate and rudeness, but other people are just seeing it as curiosity, and they think that they're allowed to be curious because you're going outside of the binary anyway. Should I be allowed? Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? I do feel like everybody having, this big opinion on everything does kind of take away from people's personal freedom and comfortability in being themselves. So I'm learning, keep your thoughts to yourself, but that's just my opinion. People also think that because they're not asking things directly and they may be asking indirect questions to get direct answers, that it's okay as well. Well, I'm not being rude. Well, hate can be disguised as just curiosity, and it can become 30 to 40 minutes of you basically giving a deep discussion of yourself, and you don't even perceive yourself that deeply. So to be perceived that deeply is just deep. Now, what have I learned in that experience is not to really perceive what people think about me. I don't have to answer questions. I don't have to do anything. I just had to be myself, and whatever you think is a personal thought. I can't control it. I can't, and that should be how all of us think. Don't let anything even get you. It's your choice. If you hear a question and your intuition is giving you that beep 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 beep, mayday, absolutely not, mayday, gotta get on out, some weird shit like that. If you're getting that song in your mind where you're like, I gotta get out of this fucking space, do that shit, because you gotta understand that's you realizing that your boundaries are being crossed. We have boundaries, so when your boundaries are being hit, don't allow it. I feel like, when you're young, at least when I was young, I was taught like boundaries were not a choice. It's some of those things where you just like, you have to answer to adults. If you ask a question, you have to be respectful, accountable, and punctual. All that cool shit, all that cool jazz. As an adult, I'm like, fuck that shit. You can do, it's my life is now or never. I will leave forever. I have a reference for every fucking thing. Get used to it. Get used to correcting people. Get used to putting people in their place, standing up for yourself. I hate to say it, that's literally just a part of this experience. You got to get used to realizing that your experience may get invalidated, so you have to validate your experience yourself. You're the only one that can do it. You're going to meet people that will do it with you. You're going to, eventually come across your community and, take the leap of faith and find your tribe. But through that, even with having your tribe, you're going to have that pushback, because not everyone's going to agree with what you're doing. And, we live in a world where, religion and stuff like that can kind of take away from freedom of speech and self. Even if you are still even religious, I still have my beliefs. So it's just one of those things where you got to understand that hate comes with every single thing. People hate on many things. So if you're getting those kind of experiences, there's like a lot of fur flying around. God. If you're getting those kind of experiences, you have to stand up for yourself. Nobody else can. And be around people that will stand up for. Be around people that will stand up for you, though. Be around people that will validate your experience, make you feel like you're human, and make it feel like you don't deserve certain things because you just don't. And there are people in the world that will purposely misunderstand you because they think that their opinion is correct. They think that what they think is what it is. So they will not hear you. They will invalidate you on purpose, which is why you have to stand on your 2 feet and stand up to that, because they're doing it themselves. They're standing on their 2 feet and standing up to you. So you have to be willing to do the same thing. Get on your 2 feet and just say, fuck that shit. Do not allow what someone's opinion is to take up the whole space in the room to the point where you shrink down. 'Cause I used to be a person that shrunk down. I used to be a person that was like, you know what, fuck this. But I'm not telling you to also get too crazy. I'm telling you to stand on your 2 feet. Sometimes that could mean just being in silence, walking out the room, not being there, not being around that person, telling them that they're not someone that you feel comfortable being around, letting them know what the fuck it is and what the fuck is not, so that you can be validated. Whatever, this, of course, the safest way possible, though. Don't go doing crazy shit. There were many times and people who literally told me that I would never be the person I am right the fuck now. Who tell me what the fuck to do, who tell me what will look nice for my aesthetic, who tell me what I should be wearing and what's cool and what's not, and tell me what I should and shouldn't, and what's weird and what's not weird, and they point out certain things, and they tell me this was that and that was that, and they invalidate my experience. You know what I did? I just don't be around those kind of people. I don't even give it time of day. I don't got time for that shit. It's that simple. Don't have time for it. Of course, it's easier said than done, because not having time for it would mean having to say that you don't have time for it. And sometimes standing up to that person can be uncomfortable because they're going to wonder why, and they're not going to see it from your perspective because they're going to think that their opinion and what they're saying and what they're doing is right. And if you tell them, they'll just apologize and then still do it, which is also another weird thing that people tend to do. So then they still do it no matter what you tell them. That's another type of person. People that still fucking do that shit. You'll literally tell them what you feel, tell them what's wrong, and they'll be like, oops. And then 10 seconds later, they're doing the exact same thing within almost identical, and then they'll tell you that they got to work on it. It's going to take some time. If you don't have the patience for that time, step away. Because some people are worth the patience. Some people genuinely need time. Some people do not notice that what their actions are doing to you. Because some people are just in their own minds and in their own heads as you are. You have to be willing to just say fuck that shit, and stand up to whatever experiences you're going through, because people are going to have their opinion and you're going to have to let them know whether you are willing to tolerate it or not. A lot of people think that trans people will never get the authentic gender experience that they're trying to, achieve. Not realizing that gender, of course, is expression. But in terms, I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of trans people do come into this experience, idolizing the experience that they're trying to go to, not realizing that what they should be doing is becoming who they are. And the experiences will come to you that are with those experiences. You know what I'm saying? Once I understood that myself, it's like, okay, I get it now. Like, a lot of Jesus. Oh, it's coming from my vent. Damn. Yeah, there's some people that believe that trans people will never actually experience the authentic gender that they're trying to achieve. And with that, you have to just live your own life. And understand that people are perceiving how you're perceiving your life. And they're also they are making up their own thoughts on how you are thinking about what you're trying to get. And they're thinking about it and going, you're not thinking about it how I'm thinking about it, which is the correct way to think about this. So with those thoughts in mind, all that thinking, just be your fucking self, whoever that must be. And people are going to have their own thoughts on what you're thinking. And you should not be thinking what they're thinking about. You should just be thinking about you because they're thinking about you in their own way. And that's just very personal to them. People judge what they misunderstand. So show them who you are. Being yourself is the best way to be understood. Because then they'll understand that they do not understand you. That's the craziest conclusion, which is crazy. Like they literally come to the conclusion that there is no conclusion. You make no sense. You're hard-headed to them. This is their perspective. You're hard-headed. You don't get it. You don't know who you are. And that's just what they categorize you as. One of those confused people. So that's how you got to just be. Because the more you are, the more their brain can understand you through their new lens of who you are. And sometimes people will never understand. Sometimes you can show people who you are. And because they never understand, because they see you through this fucking false lens, you remain that way no matter what you do. You can be the best person on earth, become fucking president of the United States of America. You can, okay, let me take that. I'm cutting that out. I don't even know why I said that. You can become an astronaut. You can do anything correct. And sometimes people will still invalidate your experience. Yeah, don't allow rejection to scare you. It's going to happen. Take it with open arms. Understand that people are going to judge you, Well, can't control that. Sometimes judgment can help you make different decisions. So accept it. Go who can I become with this? That's what I've learned. Fuck that shit. When I was younger, I got so much judgment. So many people had their own opinions of me. And even now, because I didn't, follow through who they thought I was, they're either not in my life or they're trying to judge and tell me what I should do with my life. And there's been people that just accepted that I'm just me. They put me in that box as that's just me. I do things. I'm just me. And that's what I want to be, who I want to be seen as. Just me. Because I'm going to do things that don't make sense to other people. Sometimes it doesn't even make sense to myself. But I'm just me. There's no explanation to who I just am. I shouldn't have to explain. Choose safely over being validated, though. Don't go over explaining yourself to people who are heavily trans, homo, everything phobic. That could be a death sentence. You want to make sure that you're safely removing yourself. Sometimes just removing yourself is the safest way. I've done that. Sometimes I just fade out. Bloop. You don't gotta do all that extra shit. Sometimes doing extra shit can literally, like I said, put you in danger. So don't be afraid to just fade the fuck out. Yeah, people say it's personal. So don't overthink it. People's hate is because of their own perception of whatever the fuck's going on. You can't worry about why they think that certain, it just is what it is. And I had to learn that myself. It was hard, definitely as a kid, to just let people like think what they want to think and not overthink while they're thinking it, or like what I should be doing to change, because changing can actually make them think different thoughts or think that you're not actually being consistent. So it's like weird. Just be yourself, because people are going to think regardless. You could be doing everything perfect and it's not enough. You gotta realize everybody's raised differently. So sometimes people literally, I have my own thoughts about certain things because of what I was told and what I heavily believe. It can be still seen as completely false to somebody else, and I can't control that because I think they're false. We're both in the exact same world, just different sides of the fence. And I just chose this fence, and I just think that this fence is the right way. But hey, I can't control everybody else. I can only be myself and hope that those that resonate will take it, and those that don't just won't. I can't, It's important to stay in contact with your community. Stay in contact with your community, y'all. Or create one, build one from scratch. Don't be afraid. I'm building. It takes the day, I'm opening up day by day. I'm letting y'all know that y'all not alone. And those that want to come are welcome, and those that don't can just pop in and pop out. What's got? Listen, y'all. So like I said, I went into detail about hate and pushback in my book, The Trans Survivor Guide. It is on my website. It's also on Amazon for the ebook. You can also get a paperback, which is pretty fucking cool. So yeah, just continue to support. The book is book 1 of my Sunset series, which is going to be a series of 3 books on my Trans Survival Guide. Just information, tips, and tricks. So thank you to all of you who continue to support, listen to my music. I have a new song coming out called Familiar. Here is a snippet.
Does it seem familiar to you? Now I live without any excuse, loving from 2 different point of views. I don't want to. Does it seem familiar?
Yes, listen, y'all. This is my first time making a full song with Logic Pro. I'm going to be posting the entire session on this channel, just me making the song. I made that shit in a fucking day. So this shit is just big. I have a lot of new shit I'm experimenting, and I want to share this whole experience and journey of taking myself serious with y'all. Thank you to all of you who have taken me serious, and those of you who have been seeing my potential beyond this time, and who's been here since the beginning, since I redid my entire website, started being more vulnerable on this channel. Those of you who stuck around through the times where I had to take a hiatus and take a break. So now that I'm just here and ready to just execute, it's exciting because I just know I have my posse with me. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and join the entire growth experience, because listen, the future is bright. I will see you soon, and until next time, peace.
Does it seem familiar to you? Now I live without any excuse, loving from 2 different point of views. I don't want to. Does it seem familiar?